What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for tuning into the video today. So what we're going to break down today is how Barcelona's next few matches could really be a defining moment in their season. I know it's early, but these two matches against Bayern Munich in the Champions League and Real Madrid in La Liga could have huge implications if they fail to win these matches. So we're going to break down why this is arguably one of the most, if not most important defining moments in Barcelona's season, even though it's still a little early in the season. So we're going to break that down plus a couple more updates within the squad and what we can expect from Barcelona in these matches and what happens if they fail to win these matches or what can happen if they win these matches. So we're going to break all that down here. Please comment all your thoughts and opinions down below. I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. Now let's jump in and discuss the rest of the video. So quickly, yes, let's briefly first touch on how Barcelona has looked so far this season. It's been nothing short of fantastic. With a new manager coming in, an extremely young squad, so many injuries and so much adversity they're overcoming, they've arguably looked like the best football team throughout Europe. And the two losses Barcelona has suffered, unfortunately the La Liga loss, they were playing without 5 of their most important players, plus the injured players that couldn't play regardless. And the Monaco match, when Barcelona lost in the Champions League, you could argue that if they had 11 men, they probably don't lose that match at a minimum draw. So unfortunately, and fortunately for Barcelona, those were the best case scenario of them losing because it wasn't their entire full 11 men, healthy squad, starting players. So we can kind of scratch those off, and you could assume that Barcelona wins both those matches if everyone's playing and is 100% healthy and they have 11 men. Now, yes, they've looked great. And they have beaten some decent teams like Girona and Athletic Club early on in the season. However, it doesn't matter how good they look. It doesn't matter how beautiful a football they play. What matters is, can you beat the good teams when it really comes down to it? And that's Bayern Munich. That's PSG. That's Real Madrid. Those are the Arsenals and Man Cities. And in the past, Barcelona has shown they've just come up short so many times, like Real Madrid last season, where they should have beat them both times in La Liga. At a minimum, drew them at least the last time. Where they've been embarrassed by Bayern Munich in the Champions League more times than we can count. Where they lost against PSG in an absolutely ridiculous fashion last season. Where they should have beaten Liverpool and lost in the Champions League several years ago. It's just a revolving door of shitty situations and poor performances. In Barcelona, it's a must for them to turn this around so they can really change the way that they're looked at from other European clubs and from fans all around the world. Because right now, Barcelona, I would say, typically hasn't been feared in the Champions League since basically the end of Messi's career at Barca. So obviously, yes, you want to take maximum points from both these matches for La Liga and the Champions League, but also you want it for a moral victory for Barcelona to prove you can beat the reigning champions of La Liga and the Champions League in Real Madrid, and you can finally beat Bayern Munich. So not only, yes, you want to take points, but it's a moral victory. It's building confidence for the team. And at that point, if they beat both those teams, there's no doubt in my mind that Barcelona will prove they are at this moment the best team in the world. That's if they can beat those teams, though. I briefly want to talk about Bayern Munich in the Champions League first, because as it sits right now with this new format, it's actually really interesting. And every single match, due to the nature of how this is with the 8 matches and no groups, it's so interesting because as it sits right now, Dortmund is in first place, Bayern is in 15th place, Barca is in 16th, Madrid is in 17th place. There's a lot of surprise in these standings so far, and I know it's early, but Bayern coming off a loss from Aston Villa, a solid team this year who I think might surprise some people. They're going to want to win just as much as Barcelona is going to want to win. Bayern's going to want to win because they want to beat Barca again. They want to prove that Barcelona can't beat them. They want to beat their former player in Lewandowski, and they want to beat their former coach. And I think Barcelona wants to prove that they can finally beat Bayern Munich. They don't need Lionel Messi. Lewandowski and Flick, they're going to want to beat their old team. They're going to want revenge. And as much as Barcelona needs to beat Real Madrid, or at least at a minimum draw, I think this match against Bayern Munich is more important because if Barca loses this match, unfortunately, they have 3 more tough matches. They play Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. They also play Benfica and Atalanta. Those are by no means easy matches. Barcelona very well could lose 1, 2, I don't think they're going to, but they're not teams like Young Boys like they just played, or their upcoming 2 matches where you walk in thinking, yeah, we're probably going to win 3-4-0. No, you could very well draw or lose those matches. And if Barcelona fails to beat Bayern Munich, or at a bare minimum draws, they're going to be in a really tough spot because the Champions League, I think, is going to be more competitive this season due to the nature of how it's set up and the way that they're structuring it. I don't know exactly how the knockout stage works, but Barcelona, with their history and luck is not on their side in the Champions League, they don't want to risk not being in the top 8 and having to play through knockout stages to get back into the knockout round of the Champions League. You want to prove that you are a top team in the Champions League, and you don't have to do that. And Bayern Munich's going to be thinking the same exact thing. If I'm choosing who would I rather beat, of course you want to beat Real Madrid, but due to the implications that this could cause if you don't beat Bayern Munich, I actually think the consequences are worse for Barcelona if they fail to beat Bayern, because if they don't beat Real Madrid, they'd still be level with Real Madrid in points in La Liga, and they play them for the second time that they could take points on for that. And Real Madrid has shown they're a little shaky right now, and they could end up dropping points in La Liga. So I think the Champions League might be a little more important even than Real Madrid, unfortunately, as much as that kills me to say. Real Madrid is also coming off a tough loss in the Champions League, and they're going to want to win. Obviously, it's El Clasico. It's a huge match. It's in Madrid, and they're 3 points behind. And they know, I'm sure they all know, that they haven't looked the best. They're now dealing with the Carvajal injury. It's going to be a little interesting to see how this match plays out and what the starting lineups are. And if Barcelona, if they beat Real Madrid, Real Madrid's confidence is going to be extremely shaken. And that could even cause more problems for Real Madrid and actually benefit Barcelona even more, because Madrid's confidence could be shook. And if Barcelona happens to lose that match, we're back to where we started. We hyperinflate Barcelona. We talk them up. We think they're going to be better than they are. But when it comes down to it, they can't beat the real tough teams. They can't beat the elite clubs. And we're going to have to hear it from the Madrid fans. It's just going to be an absolute nightmare. I mean, they're both must-win matches. So obviously you want to win both. But it's going to be really interesting. And I just think Barcelona is going to have a tough time matching up against Madrid just because of their defense. Real Madrid's defense is so tough to get behind because they're all fast. Obviously, Carvajal's out now, but Militao, Mendy, Rudiger, they're super fast, strong, and athletic. Unfortunately for Barcelona, our defense besides Balde, nobody's fast. And Araujo's not here. Christensen's not here. So you lose experience and physicality because they're both big guys. And yes, Koundé's looked great. And Inigo Martinez and Cambarsi, they've definitely looked pretty good as well. But it kind of worries me when they're playing against an extremely fast and counterattacking team like Real Madrid. I think Barcelona, if they don't control the majority of the match, I don't want to say it could get ugly, because Barcelona's fantastic, and they're going to be, what I think, 100% healthy minus Araujo and Christensen. They're going to have a lot of depth, and they could be great. But the high line, I really think tactically they're going to have to work out how they want to play that match. That's going to be a very interesting experiment to see what Flick wants to do and how they go about that match. But the way that Barcelona looks, there's no doubt in my mind, in the slightest, that they look better than both teams. They can beat both teams. I think they should. It's just up to them. Are they going to do it? And the only way they don't win is if they make poor mistakes, because the way that Barcelona is playing and the way the system is being run, we haven't really seen them play a poor match when their entire team, their starters, are playing. We haven't really seen them play a poor match. They will only lose if they make stupid mistakes, like give up a stupid foul in the box and give up a penalty or a red card, or miss easy chances in front of the net. They have to finish their chances, and they can't give up stupid fouls or stupid goals like they have so many times years prior. So both matches, I think, have their own reason of having huge implications if they fail to win those matches, or at a bare minimum. Obviously, drawing it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But if you lose those matches, it puts them in a really shitty spot, especially for the Champions League, because as much as I have confidence in this team that they're fantastic, I think they're a great team, and this team, healthy, I think can go as far as they want. But it starts now, because if Barcelona comes out of that Champions League match against Bayern with a victory and leaves Madrid with a victory, there's not one team that we can really say comfortably is better than Barcelona. The confidence that they have will be through the roof. They'll have so much. It's not only just a victory, it's a moral victory too, and it's a weight off your shoulders because you beat Real Madrid and you finally beat Bayern Munich. I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely nervous, but the fact that Frankie de Jong and Gavi are back and Dani Olmo's coming back makes everything so much better, because they already look great without them, and then you're adding them into the squad. They could honestly, if they played correctly, I think Barcelona could beat both teams 2-0. But these are just the consequences that I think could happen if they fail to win. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Do you think Barca can beat both teams? And if they do beat Madrid and Bayern, will they be perceived as the best club in the world right now? And then if they lose, especially in the Champions League, how does Barcelona recover? And do you think they can still make top 8 the way that this tournament is being run. I think it's going to make it a lot tougher. If they lose to Madrid, they're definitely going to still have a good chance to win La Liga. It just makes it a little more frustrating, and it's a bigger bump in the road. But let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this video or this content, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Peace.